let's get rolling. So at this point, I'd like to call to order the Wednesday, June 8th, 2016 meeting of the Hannaford Regional Technical School District. I'd like to lead off with, actually, I want to make a few adjustments to the agenda. I'd like to add, after the facilities report, I'd like to add annual retreat planning, just a 5-minute discussion there. Other than that, I don't have any changes to the agenda. Does anyone else have any changes they'd like to make to the agenda? All right. Hearing none, do we have a motion to accept the revised agenda?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Mike and moved by Mike. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, so let's lead off with introduction of board members.
Are there two of these going on?
No, there's just one, to the best of my knowledge.
There's two. There's one in front of Mark, too.
All right, well then there's two going around. So
We got to the bottom of that quick, didn't we?
I think we'll be okay. So Laura, would you like to lead off with introductions?
Sure. Laura Ross, UD3. Kelly Mills, Assistant Director of Dean of Students.
Mike McLaughlin, Workforce Development Board.
Holly Tippett, Workforce Development Board.
Mark Perrin, UD3.
Jason LaRock, Workforce Development Board.
Gibson Smith.
Lynn Cole from Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham.
Gibson Smith, Financial Director.
Michael McGrath, Addison Northwest Supervisor Union.
Satch Mason, Workforce Development Board.
Hey, thank you. Do we have any visitor comments tonight?
Okay.
No. Correspondence. Lynn, do you have any correspondence you want to bring to the board?
Gibson, I think you did, am I correct?
Yes, there's one I can pass around. Visbit is seeking nominations for service on its board.
I have a letter that I received today from the Middlebury Educators Association. 2 weeks ago, we sent Al Calzini a letter expressing our intent to enter into negotiations sooner rather than later. This is his response letter. Dear Jason, thank you for your letter offering to begin negotiations for a successor agreement to our current master agreement. We are also eager to begin this process. However, we have just recently had officer elections, and the MEA Executive Committee has not yet met to appoint a negotiations team. We plan to have our team meet this fall, and we'll be ready to get together with the board team sometime in late October to early November. We look forward to meeting with you and working together to reach a new agreement. Sincerely, Alfred T. Calzoni. So, we're looking, unfortunately, we'd like to get started sooner than that.
Can we start without him?
My guess is we probably can't, so.
Lay the ground rules.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for correspondence. Next on our agenda is the consent agenda, which will include the meeting minutes for May 11th, 2016, the monthly accounts payable for June. Does someone have the accounts payable?
Yeah, so for the building and equipment reserve, $7,711.07. From the general fund, $78,782.64. Revolving account expenditures, $5,396.02. Adult ed, $44,732.04. And a new one, approval of scholarship expenditures was $650. That was 2 scholarships. One for $400 and one for $250 for the upcoming graduation.
Excellent, thank you, Mike. Now that we have those, does anyone wish to remove either the meeting minutes or the accounts payable from the consent agenda for further consideration. All right. Hearing none, consent agenda is passed. Next item, policy 2.4, financial planning and budgeting, which is a monitoring report. You should find a copy of that in your board packet. Lynn, would you like to speak to anything in particular on that?
Again, I'm going to defer to Gibson. And he could answer any questions the board members should have. Those should have went out in your package, so
That's right.
it is a monitoring report, so you are approving it as such.
Does anyone have any questions for Gibson? Or is there anything that Gibson would like to clarify on the monitoring report?
From my standpoint, it's pretty straightforward.
Any questions? If none, I'd take a motion to accept.
I'll move to accept policy 2.4, financial planning and budgeting as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the monitoring report for policy 2.4, financial planning and budgeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, the motion is carried. Next on our agenda would be to approve the birth adjustments. There was not one in the packet. Did Kelly did?
Nope, I gave you everything I had.
Okay. There's a breakdown in the. You wouldn't happen to have that, would you, Gibson?
Let's see.
Jason, do you have those in your packet?
I do not get those in my, unless they're buried in here.
Is it the update on the?
No, I have the. No, I guess I have the budget and policy meeting minutes.
Okay. So when the Budget and Policy Committee met, there were several different items that were standing loose out there. They were individuals. I'm going to use an example, the concrete on the front of the and within that project, there was a line item for concrete, there was a line item for excavation, there was a line item for putting in the radiant heat and connecting that to the building. And what, over the last, the birth report was before the board last month. Now, actual figures have not changed. Well, they have changed, so I shouldn't say they haven't changed, because they have. But what the committee wanted to do was to bundle those together and then put them out for bid. So, for example, and I think that's reflected in the minutes, at least for the, what? Okay, so I'm just going to go through them. The first one is
Jason?
Yeah.
Hey, Lynn?
Lynn, here,
It
let's.
is in the packet. It's under the June 2nd Facilities Committee.
Yeah.
right. So you found that?
We have it in the packet.
Yeah. However, I'd like to get.
I'm going to let the Facilities Committee kind of work on explaining that. It might be
Okay.
more helpful, and I can fill in if you need me.
Okay. What I'd like to do is get a copy of the revised budget, though, because we need to. I'd like to review the budget as a whole for the board. So
Do you have that?
Not on hand. I could get it.
Why don't you go get it and make some copies?
yeah, that way we can. We'll table this for the time being. So we have a motion to table.
So
Mark.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion is currently tabled. Next item on the agenda. Sorry about that. The approval of the revenue anticipation note. That is in your packet. Got myself all out of order here. There's a corporate resolution in your packet that reads, the Board of Directors of the Patricia A. Hannaford Regional Technical School District does hereby resolve to borrow the sum of $1,125,000, said sum to be borrowed from the National Bank of Middlebury with a repayment date on or before June 30th, 2017. Proceeds of this tax anticipation loan are to be used to pay the current expenses for the school year 2016-2017. In witness thereof, signature on this 8th day of June 2016. So we need to pass this around and have board members sign it. Before we do that, do we have a motion to do that?
Move to approve the revenue anticipation note of $1,125,000.
We have a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Mike?
Recusing myself?
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I may have, I'm kind of breaking up a little bit. Was the motion, I thought the motion was for 125,000.
No.
It should be 1,125,000.
It was 1,125,000.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, and one abstention. Motion's carried.
That was fast.
Again,
So,
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
if you did say everybody there should sign it, and I think you have a majority.
yes. So I'm sending it around right now for signatures.
Thank you.
Mike. All right. So, do we have can we get a motion to remove the approval of revenue, or the BRF adjustments from the table? It's been moved. Is there a second? It's been seconded, moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mark,
Second.
Mark and Mike. Okay. All those opposed? Okay, motion is carried. The BRF fund is now off the table. So in front of you, you should find a copy of the Building Equipment Reserve Fund budget. So what we had done at the last facilities meeting, we talked about a variety of different things over the last two facilities meetings. One of them was the removal of the carpet, or replacement of the carpet in this room, which we had allotted $6,000 for. Once we looked at got the prices for the asbestos abatement in this room, related to the carpet, I was going to drive the cost of that carpet up to $18,000. $12,000 for the abatement, $6,000 for new carpet. We came up, we looked at the carpet. The committee was in agreement that while it is two-tone, if we're going to replace carpet, there's some areas in this building that need carpet more than this room. So we opted to remove that from the BRF fund.
I'd like to mention something too, though, if I may. That, there may be a way around that as well. I think they were talking about ripping this carpet out because it's glued down to the existing asbestos.
Yeah.
If you use this as your base pad and put a carpet over it, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm pretty sure you can do that.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
pretty sure I've done that in the past
Okay.
in schools where they don't want to touch the asbestos, and that could actually get you by fairly inexpensively for quite a while.
Okay.
It just wouldn't be glued as this one is. You'd use this one as the base pad and just tack strip it and put it down.
We talked about that, and the concern was that this was a pretty big room to stretch carpet across. But
Tell them to kick it hard.
fair enough. Fair enough.
No, but it was just another option because it is pretty expensive. You could open a can of worms with that. So I agree.
We did talk about that.
So the next item was, we talked about AC for this room, and there was an item in here for air conditioning. And we still have one, but what we're looking at is a variety of different options. And so we've opted not to have any engineering done at this point. Breadloaf's going to do an assessment of the current situation and make a recommendation which path we should go down before we move forward with that. That number is currently in the budget. One thing we also did is the previous budget had a variety of, had 3 entries for the replacement of the front walk. One for the excavation, one for the radiant tubing, and one for the concrete work. So what we'd ask is that be combined, and you'll see that in the revised budget, you'll see an estimate for just shy of $40,972. So the other item that was added was converting to natural gas. Now, right now, the conversion is listed as one item. We are going to further refine that and break it up between both North and Main campus. The biggest expense associated with that are replacing the burners and the boilers, is my understanding. And that was each of those were about $12,000 a piece. And I want to say there's 3 total. Is that correct, Mark?
Yeah.
There's 2 here and one up at North Campus. So if you look at the bottom line of the Building and Equipment Reserve Fund, right now, if we spend all of this money, we're going to be negative $31,564. That is not the intent. The intent is not to overspend our BRF fund. But however, there are a few items in there that are pretty open-ended. The AC and the conversion to natural gas. Most likely, we'll be converting North Campus this year, Lynn. Is that your thought?
Excuse me. That's, excuse me, that is correct.
All right. And then the main campus, sometime in the following year. But these are rough numbers. They haven't been fine-tuned at this point. So the intent is not to overspend this budget. The likelihood, that we're going to drop quite a bit.
It's 3 burners and 2 burners.
3 and 2? Okay.
This is 5, total 5.
Total 5.
Yeah, I hear you talking about burners. There's a total of 5.
Yeah.
There's 2 at North Campus and 3 at Main. The other thing that we did combine is a small construction project at North Campus that would include an equipment shed, pole barn, basically for to store equipment under, and a 10-foot extension on our pad off of the diesel shop, concrete pad off of the diesel shop. So that is also included in the grant fund.
So this board isn't going to approve that we overspend the BRF fund by $31,000. So I would entertain a motion to authorize Lynn to move forward with these, with the understanding that we're not to overspend the BRF fund.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? All right, hearing none. Oh, sorry. Laura.
So we would want to zero this out and not leave any balance?
We typically do that every year, but what we do is we don't end up spending the money. We typically allocate the money every time we do this, we end up zeroing it out. We spread the money around the needs of the building. This year, because we have some things that are floating, and some of this stuff's going to happen this summer when we're not meeting. Lynn wanted to get this to the board at this meeting so that he can move forward with certain items. We most likely will see a revised version of this probably in our September meeting. That'll be zeroed out, similar to the other ones that we have received or that we've done in the past.
And we've gotten a guarantee from Vermont Gas that by next year and the year after, they're gonna have natural gas to us?
There's natural gas available in the industrial park right now. We're not planning on, once again, we're not planning on updating anything here until we have those guarantees, and the gas is here. So,
Okay, so we don't at the time,
the gas is not here at this point.
So I'm curious how much cheaper it is than what we're,
Yeah.
fuel oil wasn't bad this year.
Yeah,
so.
and, and these will be dual fuel burners, so that, we can take advantage of.
One of the things the board should also understand is that at North Campus, at main campus, we have a $10,000 or 10,000 gallon fuel oil tank. At North Campus, we have 2 300 gallons. So we have a total capacity at North Campus of 600 gallons. And that is at the rack price in Albany. So we are really beholden out there if gas prices have a drastic change, because there's been days on really cold winters that we're filling that up on every day. So, so I think it's really vitally important that we get a consistent pricing mechanism to North Campus as quickly as we can. And right now, without the replacement of, without spending a lot of money to put a much larger fuel oil tank into North Campus, the most immediate way to do that is natural gas, and plus it reduces our carbon footprint by 50%.
Answer your question. Okay. Is there any other questions in regards to the revised HERF fund budget?
So just to clarify, the facilities committee is comfortable with Lynn making the decision to X or Max
Well,
one of these, whatever needs to be brought down so we don't run it.
well,
Can I speak to that?
yes, you can, Len.
Okay, under policy governance, one of the reasons we put those into categories, the board is approving those categories. They are, within your motion, you are saying that I cannot overspend the budget. Administration cannot overexpend the actual amount. So we are budgeting more than we have, but within your motion, you're saying I can't spend over the amount that you have. So that's one thing. Under policy governance, I can't move, once you approve this budget, I can move up to $5,000 from line item to line item, but I can't do more than that. And if I have to do more than that to get a project completed, that has to go to facilities, which can approve up to 15,000 changing. And then if it's above that on any single project, it would have to come back to the full board for approval.
In reality, what's going to happen is the updates at main campus for will be taken out for the natural gas, and that'll happen after next July, when any surplus rolls over to cover that.
Okay, got it, thank you.
All right, all those, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? One opposed. All right, motion's carried. Let's see, next item brings us to our superintendent's report. Our superintendent is in Alabama. In your packet is a copy of the superintendent report. Is there any question for Lynn in regards to his superintendent's report?
Oh, Dr. Glenn. There, found it.
All right.
So I would like to thank the board for the opportunity to be here in Birmingham. I am participating in the annual symposium for Transatlantic Alliance for Technology and Training, which is a consortium of community colleges in the United States and Europe. We have just finished up today It's been 12-hour days. Both, I came down Sunday and Monday and Tuesday were 12-hour days. So it was pretty packed full of a ton of information. I will give the board a much fuller report. I would say that globally, there is a major interest in changing the delivery of career and technical education instead of how we have traditionally done it and move to things like enhanced CTE projects that are combining all the resources, putting in rigorous academics, working on real-world hard problems. The presenters from Basque Country in Spain were continuously said we need to work on real-life hard problems, giving those to our students and allowing them the opportunity to fail, but have them trying to solve those hard problems. So I really felt like we were on the right track, and that's the direction we need to continue to move. In a lot of ways, we're ahead, and there's some things that we need to learn. So, thank you for the opportunity, and I will give you a fuller report later.
Excellent.
Now, if there's anything in my board report that anyone has a question on.
Holly?
That's not a question. Are we still, you might have just said this, I'm sorry, are we still the only high school that's represented? Like Tech
We're
Center?
the only high school in the United States represented. We're the only high school program in the United States. Most of the other thing that was really interesting is for their next year work, like their strategic planning, they have a goal of extending their opportunities down to 4th and 6th graders. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
So we're on the right track. But yes, we are in Europe. Most of them were high school. I think there's some real opportunities for us to do some exciting exchange things with, especially Denmark and Basque Country in Spain, both for faculty and students, which I think is really an exciting opportunity. So,
Excellent. Well, we look forward to hearing your report when you return, Len. Are there any additional questions for Len on his superintendent's report? All right. Hearing none, we will move on. Next item, Dean of Students Report. There should be a copy of that in your packet.
Any questions for me?
Yes, one.
Okay. Yes.
In second to last paragraph, you talk about the chickens and the pigs. Do we have turkeys as well?
Nope,
No turkeys?
no turkeys.
Because I was in a meeting the other night, and I heard something about Career Center raising turkeys for them.
Really?
Everybody is
Maybe,
animal husbandry.
I don't know.
So I was just curious, and I thought in the bills we saw something about turkeys as well.
Do we have turkeys at our campus?
just Mr. Schmidt, no. Yes, we are going to be raising 20 turkeys. I think they're coming around the 20th of June, and what we're doing is gauging that so that they are 10 to 15 pounds at Thanksgiving time. So Ms. Bosworth and her class did the math to back that out, and our turkeys are supposed to, I believe, arrive around the 20th of June. They will be raised by our summer intern, who, by the way, started Monday, correct, Ms. Mills?
I have not met her.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
And our farm manager, Gretchen Cotell, and those will be raised and then processed for the food shelf at Thanksgiving time.
So it's for help, or for hope?
For hope.
For hope.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any,
And Hope is paying the expenses on that. The only donation we're doing is the labor to raise them.
Right.
any additional questions for Kelly? All right, thank you, Kelly. Moving on, the Adult Technical Education Report. Len?
Nothing to add. Happy to answer questions if there are any.
Copy in your board report. So, any questions for Len? And yes, I will field the team. I got commitments today, so.
Right. So we're not looking for another team, we're looking for just one golfer. Anybody's interested in golfing for the Career Center on the 24th, we're looking for one.
When is it?
Of
It's
course.
24th.
24th, yeah.
Yeah.
Any additional questions for Len? All right. Next on our agenda is the Budget and Policy Report, our committee report. There is Kelly, is this a revised, or is this the same one that was emailed to us?
I think that's revised. I
Okay.
was given to you yesterday.
I'm going to circulate this. I believe it's slightly revised.
This is the one that Emily just emailed us.
Yeah, I believe it's the one Emily emailed to us. So. All right. So, are there any questions for the Budget and Policy Committee in regards to their meeting minutes? All right. Hearing none, we will move on. There's a copy of your facilities report meeting minutes that were emailed to everyone. We went over most of it when we were talking about the BERF fund, but are there any additional questions for the Facilities Committee in regards to their meeting minutes?
I just have one question.
Sure.
One of the things that Lynn was talking about in his, where he's meeting with the folks there, like, is there some of the stuff that's on here that we could try to have the students do, like some of the concrete stuff? Like, is there any work that we could do that we could give them the opportunity to put some of this together?
I would answer that as chair of the facility, no.
I couldn't hear that, Dave.
Mike's question was,
You said they were supposed to
Based-
fail, Mark.
based on based on what we have going on here, are there any of these items on, that are in the BERF fund that could be student driven? And to be put into a program or part, of the project or program.
I think that some pieces of that are, and we've tried to incorporate students wherever we can. The barn project was originally designed and is actually being finished by students. John Curler, they have wired the whole building under the direction of a licensed electrician. We don't have a building trades program anymore, and so most of that construction stuff would be involved in that. When we mentioned that Bread Loaf was going to be doing basically a planning audit for us on some things, that's going to happen relatively quickly, and Bread Loaf is donating that service to us. So if that was happening at another time, I think that we might be able to incorporate some of our engineering and architecture students into that. I think that in general, these projects do not lend themselves to enhanced CTE or those kind of enhanced projects that we usually think of.
Okay. Any additional questions for facilities? All right. I'm going to be circulating another set of forms for the revenue anticipation note. that Gibson just gave me. So, part of that original.
Yeah, it's actually for the bank for the line of credit,
Yeah.
which we'll
So-
be using to draw.
Yeah. So the first one was a board authorization for us to do it. This is the actual bank paperwork, so send that around as well. So the next item on our agenda is the annual retreat planning. Just wanted to give everyone a heads up. We're looking at doing it based on our discussion at budget and policy. We're doing the annual retreat in the morning of July 13th. July 13th is the Wednesday that would be would be the second Wednesday of the month, which is when we would normally be meeting. So we'd like to do that in the morning. We can also do it we discussed doing it in the evening. However, the concern was that, that lengthy of a meeting at the end of the day in mid-July may be a little difficult. So, do we have any objections to doing it in the morning? We've done a morning meeting the last 4 years, I believe.
What
So,
times were you thinking?
I'm thinking we'd start 7:30. Do a light breakfast. We have a quick board meeting we have to do. There's a few things we'll have to take care of. Then we'll move into the annual retreat. So the thought would be we'd be done and moved into the annual retreat by 8 o'clock.
And then we provide a light lunch.
We do a light lunch.
So people get fed and can head off
Yeah.
quickly.
So we're ending at noon?
Yes.
Yes, that would be our goal.
Yep.
So 7:30 to noon?
Yep.
And I guess as someone who's helping plan the retreat and execute it, I would ask folks to let us know right away if you can't make that date.
Yeah.
It's the single most, in my opinion, it's the single most important meeting of the year. We really need to draw on everybody's expertise. That's kind of why we're here. And the discussion is usually quite rigorous and guides us for the next 12 months.
Yeah.
So I would just ask folks to let Jason know if you cannot make it. Otherwise, we're going to assume that you will be there.
Okay. So we will be finalizing our agenda for the retreat at next week's policy and governance meeting, or policy and budget meeting. So if anyone would like to attend, put input into that, that would be greatly appreciated. That'll be 5 o'clock next Wednesday. That still work for you, Lynn?
Is that budget and policy next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, 5 o'clock, Glass Onion?
Yes.
Excellent. And we will likely be doing the annual retreat at North Campus, if that works, Lynn. North Campus for the annual retreat?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vote.
If it changes, call me, don't
Yeah.
email me, because I won't get to you.
Alright.
I was
So-
looking for it last time, I was out to church.
So ideally, we'll get it formalized next Wednesday. We'll get an agenda out to everyone by the end of next week, and we'll go from there. So, at this point, I'd like to take a motion to enter into executive session for the purpose of negotiations.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
We'll go into executive session.